All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to New Richmond, a special edition of the Scrib and Gib podcast brought to you by Justin Livestream. We have the one and only, Gibby, we got Coach Larson here. Coach, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
We got to turn that up a little bit. You got to talk a little louder.
Can you hear me? Do I got to move it closer to my mouth?
Well, I know you got to save your voice for Friday.
Yeah.
But it's fine. We'll adjust it over here. But, Coach, hey, thanks for coming on. I know you're a busy guy. I mean, there's rumors around town. You got something going special in town, so I think that's right. There's something about you got a 10-month-old kid, right?
Yeah, we got a 10-month-old sitting at home right now. He's playing in the dishwasher. My wife just sent me a picture of that, so hopefully get home and see him before he goes to bed. So
yeah.
It's the tough part about being in season, trying to manage the whole football teacher job thing, the thing that I actually get paid for, and then also, I got to be a husband and a dad too. So trying to find that balance, not super easy, but we're working at it.
Oh, that's what I wanted to talk to him about, is that 8-0 undefeated right now. You know, I think everybody's talking about it. I read a couple quotes from you today in the Hudson Observer, but everybody's talking about, hey, undefeated season, right? But let's not forget one thing, Gibby. Second time in a row, the New Richmond Tigers have been 8-0. You know, that's the last two seasons. That's what it is, Coach. What's going on in New Richmond with this team? Yeah,
well, I hope we can finish it a little bit better than we did last season, going into the last game 8-0 and going and getting a conference title. But we just got a really good group of kids. We got an outstanding coaching staff. We really kind of talk about building the culture that we want, and I can only be a visionary for that. It takes kids to go out and live that, and we've got really strong back-to-back senior classes that have really kind of buying what we're selling, and then not only do it in the couple hours that we have them for football, but really trying to live that in their everyday lives in the community out in the school as well.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people, Coach, that want to know that vision. Like, what is that culture that has set this tone? We're having two Tiger teams, 8-0. Obviously, you had mentioned last year, unfortunately fell to Hudson, but, man, great game. But this year, we're set up to do something that hasn't been done since 1964. So 2 years in a row, and we've been rolling like this for a while. So what is that culture and these kids that just buy into that?
And we always start the year, and I give out wristbands, but the first thing we always talk about is the team comes first. Football's the ultimate team sport. I mean, we reported 128 kids in our first day of fall camp. There's one football.
Right.
Not everyone's going to get to touch it on every single snap. Some people might not get to touch it ever. And it's really the ultimate trying to get kids to buy into their specific role on our team. So when we talk about the culture, I think that would be, first and foremost, number one is trying to find a way to get kids to kind of buy into something bigger than themselves. Like I said, football is the ultimate avenue to do that. As far as like the rest of our culture goes, I like to give kids a lot of say in kind of what goes on. Like, what are we going to represent? What are our values going to be? If people aren't living up to these standards, well, how are we going to handle those things? And giving kids ownership of it, because like I said, it's not going to do a lot if it's just me going and demanding, hey, we got to have this, we got to have that. We got to have guys lead from within, and the culture is only as strong as the kids that are living it day to day, and it's reflected in every action we make. It's not this one big rah-rah speech. It's not when the ball's on the 10-yard line and we need to stop. The culture is, are you putting your weights away when you're done using them? Are you getting to class on time?
Love it.
Are you eating breakfast? Those small things, or what we perceive as small day in and day out, that's what collectively makes the culture, and getting kids to kind of buy into that concept of it's every action you make every day, not the one big one that everyone gets to see maybe on Friday night or really wherever the spotlight might be.
Well, that's great. I mean, I think that's exciting to hear, right, Coach? But the one thing is, you talked about it, but that is what everybody is seeing right now. The little things make the big things, right? So how have you taken all the little things? Because I've talked to you a couple times, at volleyball games or in the hallway. Like, it is what it is. First game was tough, right? And things were left on the field. We were fortunate, right? We walk out of there with a 7-6 win. I remember calling the game. I thought the field goal was good from where I was at. I mean, I honestly did. I didn't have the best view, but I thought it was good. From that game forward, we've talked on the podcast, on all the live streams we do for football. Like, the growth has been amazing. What is the one thing that you've seen with that growth that you're most proud of?
Our kids just work, and we've talked a lot about this, especially these past couple weeks. Everyone wants to scoreboard watch, compare games and the transitive property. Oh, we beat these guys and they lost to this. And you can't do any of it, and you got to be where your feet are. And if we're at a Tuesday practice in a large forum, focus on this 15 minutes of film we're going to show you, okay? When we go out to practice, we got the homecoming festivities going on. Go enjoy those things. Give us those 2 hours that we're on the field, and just go out and have that relentless pursuit of going and getting better, and that's what we've done, and I look at every single week. You guys mentioned it when you look at the Marshfield game, not our best outing, and there were some things on both sides of the ball, special teams wise, that had to get corrected. And you don't sit there and point the finger. You don't wish you have better players. We got what we got, and we're going to make the best of what we got, and we're going to coach hard, and our kids are going to go make the improvements, and that's kind of what it's been all year, and hopefully that's what it can continue to be as long as we play.
I love that. And I think that's what we've talked about, too, is I remember driving home like, man, this didn't seem like the team that we were expecting. But Gibby over there was like, well, we got to watch tape. Like, Coach will watch tape, and they'll learn. And then from that game forward, the progression has been, I think, astronomical a little bit. And I'm sure for you, Coach, you know what you had, and you just got to dial it in, right? That's what head coaches do. But what I've liked to see is people are getting better at every spot. I mean, how do you handle that? Because it's crazy.
A great staff. We hire people that put a lot of time into it. I'm the head coach, but there are 11 other people on our staff that put these kids in the best position to be successful in the field on Friday night. I'm one person. I can't coach a whole 128. On both sides of the ball, we've got excellent people that care just as much about this as I do, and put in just as many hours, that don't maybe see quite the limelight as maybe some other people in the program, but they deserve a lot of credit for going and getting these kids ready to go. And then, like I said, also, it all comes back to the kids. We can drop the perfect play, but if you don't have the kids that have the willingness to do it and the skill set to do it, it's not really going to matter. So when you look at kind of the success of where we've been at, the players and the coaches, I mean, those are two huge aspects of it. And I happen to be one of the 400 or 140 people in that group.
Yeah. So on Friday night now, Coach, obviously, the listeners always want to know, like, what's the message, right? Obviously, we're going to be heavily favored. We got a big playoff season. We got all these expectations in. What's the simple message for Friday night?
Go win your first Big Rivers Conference championship. We've never done that here, and I don't know what else there really is to say. If we can't get ready based on those those words alone, there's nothing I can say that's going to get you up for this game.
Yep, I love it.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to kind of say. I got a little bit of the observer here from the interview from their last game, and you went through and you listed things about winning the Big Rivers Championship. Maybe one of the only undefeated teams. We talked about that, but the thing that I like to go down to, Coach, is he just says, and that keeps us motivated. It's the simple things. And I go back to 2 weeks ago, we talked about it, and I talked again a little bit about you in the gym, about saw you during homecoming week. Like, how'd you keep, what's your message and then that? The kids were excited, and you talked about it. Just give us the 2 hours at our practice. How do you get the kids to buy into that? Because that is crazy. Like, the results were evident on the field. That's all I'm going to say. They were evident on the field against Menominee.
It comes back to our kids. I mean, that's going to be a very common answer, but we have a very, very strong group of leaders that are, like I said, kind of buying what we're selling. And when we tell them, hey, you got to go close this gap because it's going to be a play for your buddy. Okay, yeah, no questions asked. Hey, we need you to, go enjoy the homecoming things, but when we're here, just focus on it. Yep, no questions asked. And then they just keep answering the bell, with whatever it is we need them. And it's something that's been going on for a long time, whether it's been morning lifting, attending summer PE, maybe going to some of our 7-on-7 stuff. It's not like it's just football season and now, hey, we just show up and we have this great product. Some of these kids have been working 4 years to get to this opportunity. And I think that's some of the work that goes unseen as everyone sees, Bennett having 4 interceptions on the year. They haven't seen him out at practice for the last 4 years, being a scout team guy in the weight room at 6:15 in the morning underneath a heavy front squat. And those are type of things that it's hard for people to comprehend unless you've been in those situations. But when you put that much work into it, it's hard to not be that laser focused on something.
No, that's a good point. One thing I'd like to say to kind of end it here is what I like to, you said it, just 4 years of seniors or the seniors before. I look at some of the seniors before. We've been doing this for a while. It just keeps stacking up. This year I think we got 23, if I remember
24
right.
24 of them.
24.
And a manager, 25.
And what's crazy, though, there's 40-some freshmen coming.
46 of them.
Okay, I knew I was wrong somewhere. He'll correct me, Gibby. But Gibby and I looked at the field last week, and, Rapids had some big guys. They might have had a guy bigger than, a couple guys bigger than our biggest guy. But I told Gibby, I said, look at the south end zone. We're stacked all the way across it. We have 80-some out there, not counting the freshmen. They had about 40. How do you keep that going, Coach?
Just try to give kids a good experience, and I'm very upfront and honest. I'm like, playing football is not going to be for everybody. I understand we ask a lot of kids, but at the same time, if it's something that you're willing to put the work in for, there might not be a more rewarding and enjoyable experience in high school football. And I truly believe that, and just being upfront and honest with kids, and coaching everybody. We can't just coach the 3 kids that are going to be playing at the one position group, trying to make sure we get everyone involved, and celebrating victories, and really acknowledging, especially like younger kids that are doing things right in our program. I think things like that go a long way.
Yeah, I'd agree. We just interviewed John Creasel, an American veteran over there in the cities, and he talked about attitude. And he talked about, that's the one thing you can control.
Attitude and effort. We talk about that a lot. You got 2 things you control. It's those 2.
Mm-hmm. All right, you got him on that. The thing that I want to end up on, Coach, is we've talked to the boys. Obviously, I talked to Bennett. They don't say much. And I give that, Gibby and I talk about all the time. We talk to them. They just don't say much. I like to go back. It's a reflection of their coach. Oh. I'm just going to say it. It is what it is, Coach. You're a guy that you've just talked about it. Put in the hard work. What happens on Friday is a result of hard work. And I think as a town, a community, you talked about it in your, everybody's out supporting. They're supporting the community, the town. You got it going. How do you keep it going? And I'm excited. We are pumped up for Friday because that is something that hasn't been done, and now we're going to keep it going. So, again, thanks for coming on. Gibby, got any last things over there?
Congratulations coming up. Yeah. What a great season. Let's keep it going, man.
Hopefully we can keep playing quite a while longer, too.
Let's go.
Yeah, I got a lot of Fridays booked for one thing only, so I'm game.
I don't have a dog in the fight, and I can't wait. Let's go.
I know. I wish Friday was here now. All right, they're getting ready to announce it. We're going to get out of here. Thanks, Coach, for, again, the head coach of your New Richmond Tigers, 8-0, waiting to go up to Superior to get the conference title. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.